Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm going over today's trade recap. What I ended up taking today, and today I was low-key a bit of a donut. Just to like lay it out there, I low-key traded like an idiot today. I ended up losing around $440 today. It's not that I traded like an idiot. I tried something a little bit different for once. It didn't really work out. We know now. So coming into market open overall, I actually forgot that there was CPI today. Definitely would have gambled a few evals on that because holy, that shit banged. That was perfect. CPI literally just straight up, yeah. That was like the freest pass on evals of all time. But anyway. So coming into market open, honestly, I was just looking at this range. Higher time frame wise, I don't know what are we? Like at this point, higher time frame wise, I don't know. I'm leaning a little bit more bullish here because I guess we are digging into this 4 hour. Can also see bearish side of things because we inverse the daily, but like the daily time frame, like overall, like this price action is like terrible. Like July, I'd say end of July all the way up until, sorry, no, what am I talking about? Very end of June all the way up until now has just been pure shit. Like terrible price action. Higher time frame bias is not really there for me. Well, it's not like obvious, right? So coming into today, overall, I was just dealing with this small little range that we had here, and I was looking at data highs and data lows, and I was like, which drawn liquidity are we most likely where are we most likely going to head, right? And by the structure of what we did prior, so Asia popped in a low, very steep into this range, and then we started to make a move higher there. CPI opened higher. We opened up a fair value gap inside of CPI. Price is retracing into it. It's realistically speaking, overall within this range of price, I felt that data highs all the way up here. So this is the highs when the news like fully ended. This high right here, this was our drawn liquidity for today, right? So that's what I had my eye on like the entire session coming into today. Cool. So market ends up opening higher here, I believe, or lower. Sorry, yeah. So market does exactly what I want it to do at this point. So we have this 30-minute fair value gap, which we have opened, two 30-minute fair value gaps. Inside this range overall, I removed it, I don't know why, but from London session lows all the way up to here, we had a beautiful retrace to C of this entire higher time frame, kind of 50-minute, 30-minute range that we had going on right here. So market did exactly what I wanted it to do on open, which was open low for us to then potentially get a setup high and work break even at this internal high, maybe take data highs and go from there, right? So this was like the initial setup that we had. I think it was like a, yeah, it was kind of just like inside this range. The fair value gap was huge. There was a 2-minute right here which I was thinking of taking, but I didn't. And then I think we ended up inversing that 2-minute. Did we? Or did we not? No, we didn't, right? So we respected the oh no, there was a 4-minute. That's what it was, if I remember correctly. Yes, the 4-minute. So I ended up respecting this 4-minute, but then I was kind of just looking at ES, and at this time ES was just looking very bullish, like how it was respecting its gaps and moving higher. So I ended up taking this here, which is just not something I usually take. But it was around, my entry was like right here. It was like here, and my break even was going to be at this internal high, and I was simply just going for like a 1-to-1 with this, or not even a 1-to-1, I was going for like, what was it, my stop loss was like 60 points. I was going for like this like end of LR like right here, so like 80 points, right? I wanted to take my TP and bring it all the way up to data high because I was super confident in data high getting hit, especially after this play. I know it doesn't really look like much because it isn't, but discretionary wise I like this just because of how ES was moving. We opened up like a 3-minute gap on ES. This kind of sounds a bit like cope, so let me actually like go to ES. Okay, yeah, there we go. So at this time right here, as you can see, ES came into like this 4-minute gap and then displaced out of it just as this was happening. So I was like, okay, this narrative is pretty good. We're inside of a 30-minute fair value gap. I don't want to see price go any lower than this, or else my entire daily bias is realistically wrong, and then that this is not going to be the drawn liquidity. So I kind of like took a bit of a discretionary approach to this, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to enter this off this displacing move with the narrative that we've already built up from 930 coming into this gap, with this low down here being protected. And if my drawn liquidity for today is going to be correct, then this trade should realistically play out, right? It was just like a 1-minute CISD inversion. It was like a 30-second inversion, I think, and then a 1-minute CISD. Took the entry. Definitely mechanically wise, like this is pure trash. Like mechanically wise, this is like C-. This is a terrible trade. But discretionary wise, I did kind of like this, right? But I'm not going to be taking it again. simply because it's okay for me to like a trade and like the idea of where I think price is going to go, but if I don't have the confluences such as the fair value gaps or my model, so 5-minute continuations, whatever, range gaps, fair value gaps, key levels, right? If I don't have that, then I can't take a trade, right? It should be that simple. And today I kind of ignored those rules. So technically today I did actually break my rules because I went against my model and I kind of just took something out of pure discretion, right? And it failed today, which is completely fine. It is what it is. We learn and we move on. It was kind of just like a way of saying, yeah, sure, you can think you have an idea of where the market's going to go, but if you don't have the proof, it's like me saying, oh, I think Jack could do a backflip. This is a terrible analogy, by the way, but whatever. I think Jack could do a backflip because he looks like he could do a backflip. And then you ask Jack, yo, could you do a backflip? And he's like, fuck no, I can't do a backflip. You get me type shit. So it's kind of like the same way with today. Was like I was looking at this and I was like, oh, I very, very strongly believe with how this narrative and how price has been playing out that data highs is going to be our next draw on liquidity. And at least this internal high that we put in pre-market. But then NASDAQ was like, oh, hold on, where's your proof? And I was like, oh, shit, well, you got me there. So, anyway, bit of a yap session there. But that was like my original play. It was just not good. Discretionary-wise, in the moment, I really liked it. Even like after when I entered and I seen us go above here. Probably should have went break even at this high. But whatever. Yeah. So overall, like a C- trade mechanically wise, but I did like the narrative behind it, even though it wasn't good. But again, no proof to the narrative, therefore shouldn't have taken it. So this was 100%, 1,000,000,000% an avoidable loss, and I shouldn't have taken it. Got it way too hasty today, but what can you do? We live and we learn. And this setup literally sticks me, like low-key, the punishment that I got for this setup was 100% deserved. So I ended up getting sat in chop for like 15 minutes like straight, and then it took me out like here. Where was it? Yeah, right here. So I moved my stop loss to this low just to take a couple $100 off the risk, whatever, or like $150 ish, $100 off the risk, because it was like, if we come back down here, it's game over. Like we've already inversed this gap and everything. Got a little shiver of hope right here, and then just got completely slammed. Yeah, I got sat in chop for like 10 minutes for taking that setup, and I also got hit with a loss. So 100% deserved the loss, was way too hasty, didn't actually wait for price to form out a proper like higher time frame structure with narrative, such as like a 5-minute gap to take us higher, or actual clear displacement straight through this 3-minute and this 4-minute for value gap which we had. I sort of just messed around with this lower time frame range, and I got caught up in it, and I ended up losing $440 today due to that. So what can you do? Is what it is. We take accountability, we learn, we grow, and we move on. Overall, yeah, that's honestly going to be it for the rest of the recap, because I got off after this. Any setups that happened after this I have no clue on and didn't see oh, holy candle, didn't see happen, so I'm not going to comment on them. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's trade recap. What I ended up taking today, Loki did a little bit of a journaling session there for myself, you could say, with this video too. So note to self for the future is, if you think you know something, you need to have proof behind it to actually execute, instead of just, you know, being a dickhead. Anyway, I'm going to catch you guys in the next trade recap, which will be tomorrow. And except for that, I hope you have a blessed rest of your evening or morning or whatever, wherever you are. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions about anything that I just spoke about in this video. If you have any questions on what certain things are got to do with trading, or if you ended up taking a trade today, leave it in the comments below too. I'm always interested to see what others are taking, if anyone else is taking trades or whatever. And yeah, if you have any questions for me personally, I'm going to have my Discord, TikTok, and Instagram in the bio of this video, which you guys can go and check out. Drop me a follow or send me a DM on any 3 of those platforms, and I will 100% respond to you if you have anything got to do, if it's anything got to do with trading related topics. Anyway, so yeah, except for that, I'm going to catch you guys in the next video. Peace out. Have a good one.